Here are 5 things that I learned from my ADHD. I kind of get emotional. It's not like when something sad is happening, no, it's also when you see a beautiful moment in a scene. It can be the music, it can be a shot, it can be something really small, it can be a small detail where I really feel emotional. And if I get this tension in my throat, it's like I want to suppress that tension and then I can't really hold it, and then it's like I have an emotional outburst just because I saw a beautiful scene in a movie. And my partner looked at me, I looked back, and we didn't say anything. She found it, of course, very cute. For a long time, I thought, what the fuck is actually wrong with me? And there's nothing wrong with me, as it turns out. It just took a while to get to that point. So this video is all about the things that I could transform from a failure to actually a great success. From losing everything to owning just less stuff. I have lost my wallet or keys so many times, I genuinely can't tell you how many times I've actually lost them. Wallet, phone, headphones, I use these AirPods and I also lost them a lot of times. Luckily, I have this search function on my iPhone to actually get them back. But it doesn't stop there. Just mid-sentence, I can just lose the thought what I was actually explaining. It's not so handy for a YouTube video, as you can guess. That's why I'm rambling sometimes so much. For years, I just thought, this is my brain, this is just me. I kind of identified myself with, I'm the guy who just loses his stuff all the time. And my friends were honestly amused about it. When I went to the beach or when I went to a party, to then realize that, damn, I have lost my keys, or damn, I have lost my phone, or damn, I just lost my wallet. And that was just being me being bad at life in a kind of expensive and troublesome way, because I needed to get a new passport, I needed to get new cards, everything new. Especially when you lose your wallet, I can guarantee you this is really crap. I really hated that, but it kept happening to me. After I kind of accepted the fact that I was that guy, I kind of shifted my mindset around that. I just got tired of owning things that I could later just lose. And it was not really in a dramatic way. It happened quietly and over several years. I just stopped replacing things I lost. Okay, for a wallet, it's kind of difficult. I started to notice that it felt just lighter to own less stuff. I'm actually much more happy to own less. And think of it like this. If you carry too much stuff, you will just drop things. And most people's solution to that problem is just having a bigger bag. But for me, that bag is kind of my mental capacity, and this bag couldn't grow bigger because I already carried so much in my mental space. So my solution was just to carry less. That's it. That's just the whole philosophy, if you want to call it a philosophy. What people call minimalism was just for me the end point of losing stuff so much that in the end I was really asking myself this question of, if I lose all my stuff, why I just don't buy stuff anymore? If you're like me, probably you started like many projects already, and there's like kind of a big graveyard of unfinished projects. Trust me, I've been there, done that, and I have a lot of dead projects that never will be revived anytime soon. And honestly, most people with ADHD, they have a bunch of projects, maybe even juggling a bunch of projects at the same time. The half-built website, the course you bought and just opened once, the calendar app that is empty, the physical calendar that you bought that you wrote one sentence in, literally, that's me. The business idea that lives still in your voice memo that you recorded and that you were so excited about. And I used to feel genuine shame about that. This is literally me. I'm a failure. I fail at consistency. I fail at this consistent showing up and doing something with enthusiasm the whole time. What I learned about that is you can't really do something with full enthusiasm your whole life. There's ups and downs to that, and that's just life. But still, the shame runs quite deep because I have a whole graveyard of proof that I couldn't be trusted to follow through, that I was all just sparks and glitter without real substance. This is an idea I really had about myself. It became very personal also. I've started to change that and to transform that into some positive aspects too, because it was quite a big toll on my mental health. So I looked at things in a different way. I reframed my thinking because every single thing in that graveyard was alive. It started with an idea and I started it. And for 90% of the people, they maybe will think about an idea, but will never start the idea. And it will just keep stuck in their own head. They get comfortable, they get cautious, maybe they listen to a friend, like, no, maybe don't do that. Nah, it's dangerous, it's risky, blah, 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 you know. Basically, they talk themselves out of the idea of starting something. Well, and to be clear, I'm not defending not finishing stuff. For me, it's still very hard to keep consistent. And this is also the YouTube channel I once created. I created, I think, already 5 YouTube channels. But in the process, I also learned, like, this is not wasted time. Every time I learned how to be in front of a camera or how to deal with the uncomfortable feeling you have when you sit behind the camera or in front of a camera. And I'm still a bit uncomfortable, maybe you can tell. The point is what I want to make, finishing really matters. This, don't get me wrong, but the journey also really matters. And starting that journey is actually, most of the time, for most people, the hardest part about everything. I'm trying to say that there's something in the starting of it, that spark, that ignition, that fuel that really ignites a project, that it had enough energy to become a real thing, even if it was for just a brief moment of time. And I think that deserves much more credit than we actually give it. And sometimes we get so stuck in this idea about ourselves. Every time you look at an unfinished project or you leave something behind, it's like, ah, damn, I'm again disappointed in myself. I'm again at this point where I just drop stuff. This is just me. No, don't build your identity on this. I think that's very important. Remember that I told you something about this shame or this kind of disappointed feeling? This is actually my next point. This is transforming your shame spiral into being the best listener in the room. And I will explain that. After every social interaction, any social interaction, a good one or a bad one, or whatever social interaction, my brain is scanning. My brain is running a full review. And most of the time, it's not on the moment, but it's kind of when the social interaction happened. What I said, what they meant, that pause that went slightly too long, the joke that landed differently than I expected. For sure, this you will recognize. The moment when you talk over someone because you're so enthusiastic about a topic that you just run down on them. And this is at the moment you don't recognize it, but then after, in my full review, I see it and I feel this kind of shame about myself. Like, why I kept talking about myself and I didn't really let the others speak. And I have literally replayed conversations from 2019 with the clarity of 4K footage. Like, literally. It's kind of embarrassing. And for a long time, I just thought this was anxiety. This was a feeling I had and I had to live with that. But there's something in all this internal listening to my own stories that happened that I really didn't expect. I actually became someone who actually can listen to people because I was listening to myself in my head all the time. I know that if I talk over someone, this has a negative impact on me because later on the day I will have it in a full review. And I felt that in my own shame spiral. That makes you very careful if you have ADHD, and not especially in a bad way, It makes you notice when someone is saying something real underneath what they're actually saying. I can't perform emotions. I can't perform to be excited about something I'm not. And I can't really pretend to care about things that I really don't care about. And that seems like a flaw to most people, or it seems like I was flawed in that. And now I really think this is the most valuable thing I learned from my ADHD, and I can tell to you. Because in a world full of performance, and trust me, the world is full of fake and performance, being genuinely raw and uncomfortably honest with no filter is really not a small thing. I think it's something that people with ADHD really have to cherish, because this is kind of our superpower. And this brings me to the next point. Criticism can for me feel like a train wreck. It can hit me so hard that I can be a whole day in my head with it. For example, I'm an educator, I work with kids with ADHD. I have ADHD myself. I know it's a kind of a weird combo, but I really love it. And I genuinely am passionate about my work. My colleague once told me I was doing a bad job raising the kids. But it felt like I was so devastated, and it kept for me the whole day. And here's the part that took me the longest to understand. The same wiring that makes a comment feel like it hits you like a train wreck is the same wiring that I feel when I'm watching a movie and I see a happy dog and I start to cry, or I have this kind of emotion in me that needs to go out. It's the same wiring. It goes for a happy moment, but it goes also for kind of an uncomfortable or sad moment. When I feel it all at full volume. It's kind of a knob you can turn, but it's the same knob. It's the same dial you are turning. I don't have a sensitivity setting for sadness, and I also don't have a sensitivity setting for joy. I have just one setting, and it's everything. And it goes all the way up. A careless comment from someone I barely know can really sit in my chest for a week. But I'm not gonna change that or pretend otherwise. Because in the past I tried to pretend I was not hit by something, by an emotion, by whatever. And I couldn't care, but actually I noticed that it came out in different ways. For example, addiction. I tried to drink alcohol to numb that feeling away. And I then catch myself in a spiral of things I do to just deal with that emotion. And no, I just choose to not pretend anymore that I don't feel all those things. You cannot just try to selectively turn the dial down. No, I tried, doesn't work. So for me, the question stopped being, how do I feel less? And it transformed to, am I in a life where the things that hit me full force are actually worth it? I can't tolerate meaningless work. For me, life has to mean something genuine, something felt, something real. I'm so sick of all this fakeness around us. And yeah, especially now with the digital age and the AI and Instagram, we all see these happy, fluffy stories about fake people. Sorry to say, nothing personal, but I think we live in an age of fakeness. And I'm so sick of that. I don't feel like that. And I for sure wouldn't compare myself to this fake reality. But also a very big point is that I've sat in jobs where I really felt I was doing meaningless work. Like it felt like I was just wasting my life. I could rather die or cease to exist to keep working at a stupid job, filling in papers where I really didn't feel that joy. It's not to be dramatic or oversensitive about it. No, I don't care. I literally don't care. It's just a plain factual feeling I have. And okay, feeling is maybe not factual, but still, it's unbearable for me to do something that I'm not enjoying. And I'm really talking about a professional work life. And most people around me seems like to manage that, which I find still I find it quite inspiring actually, because those people manage it and they don't complain, they feel kind of alive, I hope. I'm not sure about that, but they seem to find a way to get quiet about it and get through those moments, or through life of 40 years working for a company you don't want to work in. Those kind of lives, you know? I just couldn't find that switch. I'm 33 years old and I'm still at this point of what am I going to do with my life? So I just can't find that switch of just accepting that fact that life is about 40 years work and then it stops. Then you go in retirement. No, I want something that is real. I want to do a job or work that feels that I'm connected with people. And I don't say that I want to avoid the things I don't want to do. Of course not. Otherwise, this YouTube channel wouldn't be there. I want to just feel that I mean something in this world. That I do something with my life that feels I'm contributing. And I really used to think that there was something wrong with me. I'm not saying that ADHD made me special. Oh, look at me, I'm a special snowflake. No, really not. From being sometimes described as, oh, you're too lazy, I just transformed that into, no, I want a purposeful life. I want a life full of life. And it's not an inspiration story, it's just what my brain does. What happened when a brain refuses to go quiet. And I think when you have ADHD, for sure you feel the same way. I'm almost sure of that you have something that you want to do, you have this enthusiasm, this excitement, just do it. Maybe you don't finish everything, but just start, just do it. Don't let the world grind you down, ever. So I used to think that the intensity was the problem. Well, it's not. That's what we actually need in this world. The losing things, the emotional movie scene, the shame spirals, the inability to sit in a meaningless job and do meaningless work, all that stuff pointed to just one thing. My brain just can't do half stuff. I want to do it full picture mode. And yeah, it comes with procrastination sometimes. And yes, of course, I will maybe forget to eat or whatever, but I'm doing it at my full potential, or the full potential that I'm in that moment. And I stopped to just give a fuck about what other people think about that. But I really want to know, am I the only one who feels this, or is there something that you recognize in this video that you want to talk about or you want to share? I genuinely like to know it. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next.